What is the importance of astrology for a sadhaka?
It is good to know your dashas and mahadashas, antardashas and all that, just to have a mild hint of what is going to happen in the next few days of your life, next few months, next few years. How is it going to be for a Swarnakashana Bhairava Sadhaka or a Vattuka Bhairava Sadhaka? It is fine. But for Kala Bhairava Sadhana, I have told you that you go through an entire different state in sadhana itself, where astrological charts will not make too much sense to you anymore, because the energy body that is surrounding you, the body itself, is a completely different being altogether, and it is not in the control of any specific chart, right? You are trying to accelerate through 40-50 years worth of lifetimes. Then what chart can you fix? Because charts are specifically, the science of time is astrology. Astrology is basically science of time. And what is time? Kali. What consumes time? Kali. Right? So you have to surrender all these specific astrological doubts. But good to have a look at your chart and understand what are the specific planets that do fire you, so that when those kind of sudden energy bursts happen, you know what is happening. It is good to know that. Never reject astrology. It is especially the position of Ketu in your chart. It makes a lot of impact in Kali sadhana, because that shows that do you have the potential to attain the state of pretasana in your living body itself. What is Ketu? It is headless.
And also the warrior of the smashana.
What does warrior of smashan mean? It simply means that you are attaining pretasana while living and replacing it with a new head, like Vinayaka, and you are completely different man. People who have had near-death experiences come out of near-death. This is pretasana, right? And you can also imbibe death while living. Again, pretasana. 110 to 114 names of Kali is completely about pretasana. Basically, where you sit as a pret and attain a new body, a new mind, a new head, right? So check out your position of Saturn. How Saturn is the main thing for you, main planet for you in Kali sadhana, because she wears karma, right? How much karma can you burn while living? That decides how much of Kali sadhana can you progress with. Ketu, how capable are you to attain that new head, right? Because he's headless. And how capable are you to attain a new head? This is determined by Ketu. Do a self-study, but never get addicted to these.
Don't get carried away.
Never get carried away. Unless astrology is your profession and you want to get into that properly, then you can. But Bhairava energy, once the energy body is transmuted to Bhairava energy, you will find that charts don't truly align to it, and everything is under her control, right? Because even the sun has a shadow, that is Saturn. Sun doesn't know that the sun has shadow, and she sits in that shadow, right? Saturn. Her energy, her planet is Saturn. Something that even the sun, which is called the planet, the king of the planets, doesn't know about himself. That is where Kali sits. So yeah, don't get bogged down, too addicted by the charts in Bhairava path. Good to know with the Shas.
Yeah. Also because a chart is not just about the placement, but also about the interpretation. And because she's Mati, I think that a lot has to do with the state of the person who's doing the interpretation. So if the astrologer himself is a sadhaka or herself is a sadhaka, I think that's a different story. But then just looking at a chart, in a very generic sense, may not work for a sadhaka.
Self-study is the best for us.
Yeah. Instead of depending on someone.
She wants you to know at that moment alone, you'll learn and you'll walk off happily, smiling, haha, okay, this is what I am. Yeah. But as opposed to going to somebody else who's in a completely different state, who will just look at your chart like this and give you 10 opinions, self-study for a sadhaka is the best way to look at your chart. Yeah. Learn. Nowadays you have good channels on YouTube itself, right, which can tell you one planet in a specific house. What does it mean? That alone you learn. Astrology cannot be discarded.
Exactly.
But for highest state of Kali sadhana, you will find that only few planets you should look at. That will tell you, like Ketu in the 8th house, born for Tantra, right? Born for occult, born for the smashanic subjects. Somebody like that is made for Kali, smashan Kali sadhana. Like this, everybody can do a self-research on that instead of depending on somebody external.
Great, Anna. So now Now that you have mentioned about the thidis, the astrology aspect of Swarnakarshan Bhairava Sadhana, people also have this urge on how to reach you, because because you have given a direction that after 3 vidhis, after 3 sankalpas of Swarnakarshan Bhairava Sadhana, so many people they try to reach you, and also some people get agitated or frustrated, or they try to get panicky about the situation. So the standard recommendation from the admin team is that they simply have to wait for every 11 days before approaching again, or send a voice note in some cases, or write an email, write a message, but don't give up on it. Just keep trying to reaching you out, because the sheer volume of the messages that you get is very huge on a daily basis. But then my question is more about the mindset that one should have, because when they're expecting a certain response from a guru and they don't get it, sadhakas might feel disheartened, or let's say they might feel discouraged. So, what is your advice to people? Because we are talking about Swarnakarshan Bhairava Sadhana.
So the bija, it will reach you when the deity deems you fit for it. First understanding. So does that mean you're an unfit sadhak? No. It simply means that the fertile soil is not there yet. Right? I get a lot of messages in a single day, but not everybody, maybe not even one person is asking for bija every day.
Okay.
Right? So I know if you're able to reach my inbox, this is the answer. If you can reach my WhatsApp inbox, of course you join the group, from there you ping me, and you take the bija directly from me. Right? But that urge and the nimita for it should come naturally. And you do not get a response. One time you asked, 10 times you asked, 2 months you're asking. That means you simply continue your Nama Japa for one more Ashtami. 11 days minimum Sankalp. You might even do the Nama Japa alone for next 5 years. No problem. Don't consider Nama Japa as an inferior part. Till you consider the Nama Japa as inferior to the bija doesn't make any sense to you. This is the first thing. Because purely with Nama Japa, you can go to the highest states in sadhana. And especially for the Kali, the Rishi of Kali sadhana gives that answer. Ka. Kali only you don't have to say. You just say Ka. It's Kali. Right? So you want...
Kakara Varna Sarvangi.
Kakara Varna Sarvangi, Kakara Varna Nilaya. He keeps on describing her as all things to do with Ka. Right? So, naam hi nahi chahiye. Just Ka. Syllable only is deity. This confidence you should have when you're doing the Nama Japa. Don't think that Nama Japa ho gaya hai. Now bija kahan se milega, and you keep looking at the bija like this, you're weakening your sadhana. You don't get it? No problem. Continue. This confidence that even without the bija, I am absolutely in Bhairava state only, sufficient.
I mean, it's very beautiful because especially for all the younger folks who are into superhero movies and like specifically Avengers series, they will remember a conversation between Iron Man and Spider-Man. So Spider-Man has a specific suit from Iron Man. Iron Man gives him a suit, very specific high-tech suit. And then Iron Man observes that this fellow doesn't use it like with responsibility, and he takes it back. And Spider-Man goes out to say that, without the suit, I'm nothing. And Iron Man says that if you're nothing without the suit, you should probably not have it. Right? So this is the relation between Nama and Bija, right?
Only eligible for the suit only.
Exactly. Because if you're nothing, you don't deserve the suit. So as long as a sadhaka thinks that they are not, let's say, equipped enough, or they are not, let's say, having all the right sets of ingredients to progress in their sadhana with just a Nama Japa, maybe they will not.
Yeah, the bija goes waste only.
Exactly.
You cannot force a bija out of a guru and take it. It will have no use. You cannot put it into a grid again. Again, what if you have to continue for 6 more Ashtami with the Nama Japa alone? Are you saying the Nama is weak? Yeah. Right? All this is a test. Right? 10 people, 20 people will text me in a day, but hardly 1 or 2 will reach for the bija. Right? And if I see the word bija in text, I will give it.
Definitely you will respond.
Reached. They've come there. So 3 Ashtami khatam karke aaye hain, to 100% bija milega. And after that, don't wait for the bija kitna der karne, never ask that question.
Because bija is for life.
Bija is for life until the kapal falls off by itself and you are like, mere paas hai, promotions hai, sab kuch hai, aur bhi mil raha hai. I'm getting more too, but Kala Bhairava, I want to sit down. That state comes, that is when you start Kala Bhairava sadhana, and that directly you take the bija.
No need to do Nama, okay.
Directly. Kala Bhairava to like it's the final state of Bhairava state. Uske upar to Kali only can give you. Mahakala Bhairava state, Kali only can give you.
Yeah.
Right? Uske baad to Kala Bhairava sadhana and Kali has to go hand in hand, intensity, and you will find Kali Nama going higher and higher and higher, and Bhairava Nama, you might get shocked. And you might think that I'm not even calling him once a day because he has taken over. That is when this becomes Mahakala Bhairava state. It is subservience happening naturally. That is you. That is like what like few in lakhs will be able to attain that state and give that bhoga to Bhairava itself. Bhairava takes bhoga.
Now, when it comes to, let's say, the bija, of course, it is now clarified. So, when it comes to the Swarnakarshan Bhairava and Mahadya, especially when it comes to the asan, there's a popular category of questions which ask about how many, let's say, photos of one deity can I place? So, of course, for the Adi Mahakali, you have given a general guideline that she has to be the highest in the puja asan, wherever they are sitting in their asan, she has to be the highest, the biggest frame. In one particular video, you also mentioned that even though the photo itself is not big, at least the frame has to be bigger. You've given multiple options to people who follow all the videos would know by now. But there's an increasing number of questions on how many photos should I place. Should I place one photo, multiple photo? If I have Swarnakarshan Bhairava, can I place Mahadya? Or if I have Mahadya, can I place Swarnakarshan Bhairava? So this kind of, let's say, confusion is there. And second thing regarding the Naivedya. Let's say the bhoga offering. If I do two sankalpas together, first question is, can I do two sankalpas together? Can I do Swarnakarshan Bhairava and Mahadya sankalpa together? And then if I'm doing two sankalpas, should I offer bhoga separately or should I offer together at once while I'm doing this thing? So how do you advise these people? Because at certain level, all of us have passed through this phase of ambiguity, this phase of confusion. And then, honestly speaking, there is no one-stop solution for all these questions. They have to approach the guru and get the answers. How would you advise these people about sankalpa and the bhoga and photos?
So I will go into a short story of a real life story. Again, I don't want to say a lady and get into a shishya, right? From Delhi satsang, she asked a question. This was the last question of the day. She has a very popular form of Devi. She has that proper setup in her puja griha, and now she's like completely going mad over Kali, Adya Kali, like Adi Mahakali form, right? And she's feeling guilty. She asked me, I feel guilty about keeping or reducing my Devi's form to a smaller form and then keeping Adya. At the same time, you have told me that Adi Mahakali always has to be the biggest frame. What do I do? Now, do I remove this or like, number one, I don't advise on removing. It has to come within you. That confidence is not inside you that now I am not able to remove this photo and place Ma. Then you're not ready yet.
Yeah.
Nobody should advise you. Nobody is going to advise you and tell you that remove your photo and keep this one. Right? It has to be like that. Veera, that is the first step of Veera. Right? I see only Ma Adya Mahakali now. Kali. That is the only thing for me. Then though naturally we will not have any problem. Discussion hi nahi aayega. Right? But when she asked me this question and she was also not very happy with my answer, she texted me later and said that aise bol diya aapne about her form. I'm not telling you the name of the form. I'm not.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I was like, I'm going into silence. She went into silence for a week after that, threw off her phone, everything, because she wanted to get an answer for this. And what happened was she was one of the volunteers with the Delhi satsang. And after the satsang, they had packed off all the items, you have the bottles and all that we use for the satsang. They had all packed and put everything into her car, into her boot. And her question was about, her Devi form is this size. I cannot keep a bigger form. I feel guilty and all that, right? And she gets a call after the silence period is all complete. She gets a call from one of the other volunteers who asked her, where is the banner of Devi that we keep for satsang? It is in your car boot, and the banner is a huge one,
Very big.
That has already reached her house. So the answer has already come. If you truly wish to worship me, I have to be the biggest. And how did she come? She came in at a size, her entire puja griha, if she keeps, it'll be like
it's covered. Yeah.
That big the banner is. And she gave the answer. She didn't want me to give you, but she gave. So if you want to keep Kali, she has to be the highest. Whatever be the form of Kali you're worshipping, call her Adya Kali. This is a trick. The moment you place the term Adhya and tell her that Adhya, you are the first, whatever be the form of Kali or worshipping, put the title Adhya. It's a title for her. You are telling her that in the Mahavidyas you are here, even the rishis could not imagine beyond that, which means you are Adhya. Yes, all of them are Adi Shaktis and different forms, all the Mahavidyas, but inke upar they could not imagine. She restricted it, right? Which means she is Adhya. So if you have to place her, you have to place her there only. You cannot put a new Dasmahavidya chart and place her in middle, right? Can you? No. So Adhya has to be the biggest in your Garbhagriha, that, and let it come naturally. Till you do not have the guts to keep her at that stage, don't do it.
You're looking for external validation.
Don't ask any.
That is a problem. That's a problem.
The body is lying on the funeral pyre and asking, should I burn now? Should I burn this finger also? Should I burn? No, you have to get burned completely. Only then you give Kali. Right? And Kali, though, always call her Adhya. That is a salutation that this energy absolutely loves it. Because you are a realized person. You have understood the crux of it. You have gone through many lifetimes and understood this. Because there is nothing beyond her. And every time people or a sampradaya or a parampara or a set of people start invoking Kali, at that state where she is in the Dasamahavidya, beyond that, in the astral realm, an energy manifests. That has happened for our mission. And that is why it is uncontrollable. Can anybody simply stop this form? Even if I am killed tomorrow morning, if somebody types Adi Mahakali, don't you think that the form will come up?
Yes.
Do you think it is without her permission?
Of course, nothing is without her permission.
What is the one single distinguishing factor of our specific parampara, our specific sampradaya is that we are mad about Kali. We only say that she is the highest.
The Kyapas, basically.
No, beyond Khyapa.
Yeah.
Beyond Khyapa, this specific subset of that runs behind Adi Mahakali, we get mocked for it. Many times people say, Arey, kya bol rahe, he is nothing. But she says, I like it. And in the astral realm only it has begun to change and this form has started taking power. Now you can find her everywhere now. This specific form, which is in a simple man's Garbhagriha in a simple house, is all over the
internet.
All over the internet. And it can't happen just like that. The deity likes it.
Yeah.
Deity says, yes, this is me. Right? So you have to allow that energy. Until you do not allow that energy, you cannot, there is no slipping under the door with Kali.
Yeah.
Break the door for her. Tell her somehow come in.
Take the roof out. Yeah,
yes,
not just the door. Yeah.
Kuch remove kar do, lekin tu aaja. That is the only way you can bring Kali. Until that confidence doesn't come, ye bada photo kiska rakhna hai, chota photo kiska. I will observe people, just extending a little bit. I observe people very intently when they have conversations with me. That is why I tell people not to have conversation with me. Because that is better for you. Because if you slip up and reveal identity crisis where, for example, if I am speaking about something on my channel and somebody is texting me about it and they say that when you visited the specific kshetra, it is Matangi, it is Madurai Meenakshi, it is Valli Devi, I will observe very carefully that you have to say that, which is also a form of Kali. That is very important. Right? If you say Kamakhya, you should also say one of the names of.
Yeah.
So you say Ma Tara, one of the names of Kali. Chinnamasta, one of the names of Kali. The way you communicate about Kali will tell you everything about her presence in you. The true Kali Sadhaka is the one lying down over there and cannot see anything other than Kali.
Yeah. Only thing visible is her.
When you communicate with me on WhatsApp, when you communicate with me in person, if you have other forms that you're pushing beyond Kali, there is an energy mismatch. This is not a disqualification. It means that probably it is not yet probably time for you to.
Yes.
Find out whether you're doing this. Yes. That is a good way to disqualify yourself so that you're safe.
Yeah. In fact, this whole lens of looking through where people think that, this is bad or good, or because there's nothing like good or bad in this path. End of the day, it's just that certain energies are conducive to the sadhaka at that point in time, that stage in time, based on the karmas that are pending. And then once those things are taken care of, naturally the progress is towards her.
Burnt body.
Yeah, technically. And now what about this? Okay, now that you've beautifully explained the why the concept of placing her at the highest should happen, what about this sankalpas being taken in tandem? Let's say on Ashtami they start Swarnakarshan Bhairava, and the following Amavasya they start Adima Kali Sankalpa, because many people do it and they still have doubt. That's the problem. So if they just do it and continue, there is no problem. But a lot of people, they ask, Should we do it? Can we do it? Is it allowed to do it? What is your advice to such kind of questions?
So, Sankalp is a promise to devote that entire period, that entire time, that entire state of consciousness during that specific period to the deity only.
Okay.
Can you do for 2 deities and devote to 2? Here only the answer is there and no.
Yeah.
So, with your Nitya Upasana, which you have taken a Sankalp for life. So, if I am taking Nitya Upasana for till the last day of my this specific life and beyond, Ma, I want you. Right? This I have taken. With this, I can take a Sankalp for Bhairava.
Yeah.
So, that also has to continue, this also has to continue.
In fact, you said the Nitya should go before the Sankalpa. So technically, they should do the
Nitya is your Ishta.
complete. Yeah. And then do the next.
Then again, if you take a Sankalp for the Ishta only, so Nitya and your Sankalp can go hand in hand. Right? Two, by definition, it is like putting 2 swords in the sheath. It cannot happen.
Yeah. At once.
It cannot happen. It is, do not even think of that. Right? It's a very wrong thing and it's a mismatch of energy. Number 1. Number 2, Bhairava should be the major crux of your sadhana for first few years. Ma Kali could be secondary. But that it's a very beautiful state when you begin to fall in love with her and slowly Bhairava will, like, you'll find that he's attaining Shunyata. If that is happening, congratulations. You've done it. He is surrendering to her now. This is something you should watch out for. So how do you transmit from Bhairava sadhana to Ma Kali sadhana is when naturally the Bhairava, the amount of time you're spending on Bhairava Sankal, Bhairava sadhana reduces. Naturally. This is the word. Then it is happening. He's attaining Shunyata at her foot and he himself is transmuted to Mahakala Bhairava. Enjoy that. But it will come naturally. Till then, both go hand in hand. 2 Sankalp of the same deity does not work. Nitya Sankalp plus another Sankalp of any deity you can do. No problem.
Okay. And now the another set of questions when it comes to Sankalpas, right? The bhog. So let's say if someone is doing the Nitya Sadhana and they have Sankalpa, many people are asking, in fact, this is one of the very popular questions. Should we offer bhog twice? Once for the Sankalpa or once for the Nitya? Or once like Agarbatti should I place 2 times? Dhoop should I give 2 times? In fact, many people are asking the importance of Dhoop and Agarbatti and let's say Nitya bhog and stuff like that. So what's your advice to these people? Because the volume of questions is staggering actually. It's a huge volume. A bhog and also, is it 1 bhog for Sankalpa and Nitya? Or let's say 1 Agarbatti for Sankalpa and Nitya, like, because there's a general misunderstanding or let's say general ambiguity with regard to the padhatis that are followed for Sankalpa and the Nitya.
So this is again an indication of not yet having touched upon the energy of the deity yet. Right? So the bhog is external yet. It is physical. It is being offered ritualistically. Where rituals end, Kali begins. Right? Because Krishna walking around the battlefield is bhog for Kali. Krishna experiencing and drinking the breast milk from Ma Yashoda is Kali. Both sides. Kali will sit with inside the person opposite you and enjoy you, and you will enjoy Kali through you. This is how actually Ma will take bhoga. Bhoga priya is like that.
So the indulgence of the sadhaka, that experience itself is a bhoga.
So the sign to watch out for is your dependence on bhoga, external, offering some nuts and fruits and all that will begin to reduce. But your sadhana and the intent for sadhana will not reduce.
Yeah.
Sit there every day, but you will realize that she is not sitting there for those naivedya that you offer externally, but she is sitting through you and consuming through you. There are forms of Kali which we cannot offer any naivedya at all. They will only take blood of the sadhaka itself. This is that. We're not going to go into depth of that.
The depth of it, of course.
Because Ma is Rakta Homa Priya only. She will take the Homa of blood.
Rudira Priya.
Rudira Priya, lover of bloodline, which means your entire blood ka karma, blood ka rinana bandhana, everything she takes as bhoga. So true Kali energy, if you touch now physically, nothing will be offered. This is true Kali energy. The day you were no longer offering anything to her physically and life only is samarpit, and you understand that you're helping your entire bloodline attain mukti, that is Kali's true bhoga. Right? So you walk as Krishna. That is how she takes bhoga. Every experience, negative, positive, from our level of understanding, negative, positive, pain, intense laughter, all of that is Kali taking bhoga. Until then, she will not switch on at all. Mahakala Bhairava will lie there, trying to push you into that stage, where she has consumed multiple realms of time. Multiple realms of time is lying at her, under her right foot. When till you do not understand that, you will try to offer external bhoga to her. Again, I am telling you 101 subjects, ritualistic, offering karo, so that after 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, 10 years down the line, you don't ask me, I didn't offer agarbatti, did I make a mistake? People are doing sadhana for 2-3 years and then they ask me, I feel like doing ritualistically. Yes, because there is doubt in your mind. Next life you will become a temple priest, doing it completely as per rituals.
Instead, do it now.
Offer your agarbattis and one day you will not even remember, oh, I didn't offer agarbatti, but wow, I'm enjoying my sadhana. That stage means she started coming onto your asana. She's walking around as you, in you, within you, living everywhere through you. That is activated Kali state. That is the God mode, you can say.
Yeah.
But if you have the urge to offer multiple bhoga, do it. Ensure that you're doing it. Because you have to come out of it. Otherwise, 100% 6 months down the line, you will feel guilty. Even the offerings in your asana, do it and renunciate. So I'll tell you very openly about myself. Nothing is offered to her externally that can be purchased or procured, right? Nothing that can be purchased or procured from external influences of consciousness, like a flower selling lady has to sell it to me by plucking the flower from a tree and then coming to a shop and then me buying from there. I don't offer it to her. What am I in that?
Total procedural collapse.
I'm not the ground on which the flower plant grew. I'm not the tree. I'm not the flower plant itself. I'm not the flower. And the lady is also like, but there was a stage when she demanded all of that. If you see that entire progression of Devi in that Garbhagriha, you can find how she has progressed. Every day you would find a lot of flowers and fruits and all that. Then she stopped taking it.
Yeah.
I want it. I will take you. I'll consume you. Through you, I'll consume everything else. This is Kali state. This is the only way you can give bhoga to Kali. For Swarnakashna Bhairava, yes, give external bhoga, no problem. Yeah. Ultimately, Bhairava's bhoga is only Kali. Yeah. Right? Wo stage aayega, let it come by itself. So follow rituals. If you have the urge to follow rituals, karo.
Get it done with.
Congratulations to you the day you no longer are dependent on that. You have truly attained the state now. That stage has to come. That is actual sadhana. It is not bound to a temple at all. It is not bound to any rules. It is you wearing your karma as a skirt. You wearing your own entire ancestors, entire pitru, entire thing as the kanthamala and walking around. That is actual state of attaining oneness with Kali. Obsession. Bhairava's obsession.
So I think this was also previously explained in a beautiful story of Bhima and Arjuna, where Arjuna is trying to gather all the beautiful flowers available in the forest, carts, everything possible.
Carts of flowers.
Yeah, to offer to Mahadeva, while he sees carts full of flowers being pulled by some other beings, Shivaganas. And then that is basically Bhima indulging in his food, every morsel before he consumes.
1 second before he consumes his food. Bhima's hunger is so much.
Yeah.
He has to eat. Yeah. And imagine food is right in front of him, but he's not eating. That second before eating, he's controlling himself and offering it to Mahadeva.
That is powerful.
So this is the most beautiful example of how Kali can be offered bhoga.
Yeah. I think this is a fantastic example. Now that the question of bhoga is also addressed. So in between you've mentioned beautifully regarding this example of one of the Shishyas posing a question about placing her, and in between you used a word called nimita. So of course for the people who have not known enough about this concept of nimita, so what is a nimita? Because end of the day, not everything is esoteric. And end of the day, there can be a lot of coincidences where our mind can trick ourselves to believe that it is something it is a nimitta, or it is something, let's say, it is a deity communicating to us, though it might not be the case. So how does a sadhaka navigate this nimitta shastra? Because of course, nimitta cannot be taught. Nimitta shastra cannot be taught. So for a sadhaka who is in a beginner stage, how does he navigate through this situation with nimitta? How does he understand if it's a nimitta or not? How does that intuition, how does that work?
when you lose your head and your head is replaced with something that is not you anymore, that is when you can truly attain oneness with your intuition, which is Ketu, basically. Right? So intuition or nimittas cannot be taught at all. Right? Let me tell you, we Hindus generally we blindly believe the sound that the lizard makes, right?
Shakunam, like Shakuna, like different languages, different names, yeah.
Gauli Shastra, like they say in Tamil Nadu. It's called the whole Shastra based on its sound. Like there are specific prashnas which I raise in my Garbhagriha. At that time, there are different sounds that the lizard makes. Now, if I tell you, will you be able to believe this? You will believe because you respect this.
Exactly.
But if I tell you, if we both
Random person.
right now, let's get up, walk out, and find one person and tell him that the lizards in my Garbhagriha makes different sound as per the question I raise. Will they believe?
No.
Though it is Nimitta Shastra is the highest form of the deity's communication to you. Highest. It is like you ask a question and the deity will immediately put two things in front of you and make sure that.
Through nature.
Right? We can train the deity's energy to communicate with you by saying that whenever I see 111, 111, I will believe this one. Angel numbering is something that, a system of angel numbering is there, where they try a different way. But for Kali specifically, when we have all accepted that 11 is a number, you will probably start finding that somewhere, and you need to truly believe that now that I've seen this, one way to train. Now that I've seen this there, I believe it is Julie and I'll do it.
So that belief basically.
Okay, let me guide him.
So it's like this cause and the effect.
Surrender. Nimitta Shastra can be attained by only complete surrender to the Nimitta. You see it and then you don't do it, then why should the deities communicate with you? There is no communication only happening. Right? So train the deity also to communicate with you. At the highest, yes, you will be able to differentiate between the sounds of animals. Like for example, there is specific way in which the dogs wag their tail. Indian bird dogs. Okay, when I say dogs, I always talk about animals born in the
Indian canine. Yeah.
There are specific ways in which a dog can. This is Kerala Tantra. In Kerala, you will find people, specifically, generally, deity Ma represented without Abhay Mudra, Varda Mudra is common in Kerala. And this specific form you can find in Chammanad Bhadrakali. Chammanad is the name of the place. You will find her in this specific form. Right? People generally think it's all Bengal. This is like 1,500-year-old temple. And we are very soon going to head into complete Kerala related, because that is why I was born there. Right? Thrown out of Bengal, right? So that I speak about Kali from Kerala. So that's a nimitta. Somehow it just moved, I saw her and I've gone into this. That's how you believe that the deity probably wants his subject addressed. That's a nimitta.
In fact, this entire Parasurama Kshetra, the Bhadrakali worship is fantastic.
Using right now is a nimitta. It is a nimitta. Because it was running in my head for the last few days. And you spoke his name. We will address this,
Yes. Yeah, this is a nimitta actually.
Trust it. Now if I say, probably he's asking this, no, I'll put a separate video in April, I'll put it. Agar मैं ऐसा करूँगा, तो deity will not communicate anymore. I am believing this data, this is nimitta, and I'm jumping into it. That is how you train yourself.
Leap of faith.
Leap of faith, surrender. Surrender. Both same, right? So that is Nimitta Shastra on one side. Train your deity to talk to you by jumping into the fire. See, the deity only will think that if he sees 111, he'll jump into the fire. So let me show it or not show it. Let me guide him. Let me teach him. So deity will teach you. Nimitta Shastra is the knowledge from above. Right? It is Jupiter, which is ether itself, and Jupiter and Ketu, which is a headless being. Jupiter guiding you through the ether, and head is no longer you. Head is the deity. It's a little complicated to describe Nimitta Shastra.
Yes, of course.
Especially Jyotish Shastra, anybody can learn. Of course, how high you go depends on your kripa.
Kripa, the blessings of the deity, yeah.
Tell me what is Ketu in 8th house, you can tell me what is Ketu in 12th house by reading a chart or a book on it, right? But Nimitta, how will you teach it? It is absolute presence of the deity.
It has to be experienced.
So let's take this Nimitta now.
Great. So now taking the nimitta, actually there's two parts now, like from this question. So there's two very important subjects. Like one is, of course, Parasurama Kshetra, and second thing is the Indian canine breeds, right? So let's first, Jema. So let's first address the Parasurama Kshetra. So many people kind of, let's say, it's actually a very practical problem a sadhaka faces in the initial stages. they know that Adyakali or Devi has to be at the highest, right? That's the eventual. That's where they're headed to. And people, when they find the videos of Lord Parasurama on the channel, or Lord, of course, Skanda, Chandabhairav, Skanda, all these things, they get this feeling to, let's say, take a sankalpa. Because even in the Parasurama video, you have clearly told people to take a sankalpa of Parasurama, meditate on him, all these things. Even when it comes to Skanda, you've given the mantra, Nama mantra, and stuff. So they have this conflict like, okay, if Bhairava and Kali are everything, why should I take a specific sankalpa of let's say Parashurama or let's say Skanda? Of course, someone who has again watched through the entirety of the videos, they understand that Parashurama is an example where the highest states of masculinity was taught that femininity is higher than masculinity.
He is Mahabhadra Kali Shishya.
Exactly. That's why even in the war, when he had the Kartavirya Arjuna, he was not able to defeat him because even though he had the Astra from Mahadeva. Exactly. Sorry. Suchandra. And then it is Ma who grants him like this boon that, okay, she grants the realization and he starts this Parashurama Kshetra, this whole Bhadrakali worship happening in this zone. So people have this general question, should I take the sankalpa of a specific form even though I'm doing the worship of Bhairava and Kali? If yes, what should be the mindset? So of course you have given the general guideline that whatever worship you do, whatever specific forms you take up the sankalpa of, highest is always Kali. That should be the goal, end goal.
That should be the core. Like, does the sun rise? Yes. Is there something called the night? Yes. Is Kali the highest form of envisioned Parabrahma form? Yes. So, like I've always said, every deity has a Parabrahma form, but the Parabrahmana has a form that is Kali. Right? If you cannot believe this, Kali sadhana won't work for you. If I have to convince you, it won't work. Not because I am special, you are not special, nothing. Time nahi hua hai. Aana to idhar hi hai. This is the final state. Again, you spoke about taking sankalp of Parashurama. Again, I would like to remind you of our initial discussion in this podcast. Bhairava takes the energy of every single form. So, Bhairava sadhana itself will give you Parashurama's energy. You don't have to specifically take any specific form. Bhairava is clean, clear cut, no frills. No frills.
Embodiment.
Yeah. Everything is Shivamaya. Accept it. In that we have different projections. Shiva is Kali. Shiva is not a gender-based deity at all. Shiva is a Shivling.
Tattva.
Shivling is formless, right? Adhya, Trimurtis, we have Mahavishnu, Parashurama, right? So Bhairava is like, we already have that energy. You don't have to take a specific thing, right? But when Parashurama becomes extremely relevant is when you need to understand Kali. So, to understand any specific Kali, because like I've said in Mahavidya, she's at the highest, and beyond that also she is there.
Guru of the Mahavidya.
Guru of the Mahavidya is Kali in Mahavidyas itself. But beyond that also she is there in different states. So to Parasurama she reveals herself as Bhadra Kali, and she makes sure that the education is given to him correctly into that. So how is Kali consecrated? For that you need to understand the sadhaka. How is Parasurama intense? The most ugra and my favorite, sorry to use this term, my favorite, absolute favorite is Parasurama in Vishnu avatars. Absolute, right? Very close, what do you say?
Second.
My Kula, into which I was born, was established by Parasurama. Number two is both of our mad love for one single cow. So the Kaliputra mission, it began from Gau Seva, right? Where we started with one single cow. His was Kamadhenu, mine is Kamakshi, right? So that one single cow you attack, hell breaks loose. It is like that. So Parasurama, we both began from the same space. And how do you understand Kali? You need to understand the sadhaka. So you understand Parasurama, you understand Bhadrakali. Yeah. If you do not understand Parasurama, you cannot understand Bhadrakali as energy. You will simply think it's one more form.
Yeah.
Right? Bhadrakali is extremely deep, and she connects you to Bhamakhepa. I'll tell you how. So let's go to the extremely powerful Kshetra of Adya Mahakali called the Kodungallur Bhadrakali of Kerala and her 64 yoginis. So Parasurama established after, like you just told me, he was not able to kill one of the kings as per his dharma of destroying the Kshatriya Kula. He turns into a state where he's not able to kill one of the kings, and whatever divine weapon from Mahadeva he is having and he's throwing it on him, it becomes a garland. So look at that moment of insult, right? That Devi is giving. That's how she is. Devi is like that. She's that, kuch nahi karoge, kya karoge? She's like that. She's got that attitude, right? Best of the weapons you got it from Mahadeva himself. Uske upar kuch hai nahi. And you're throwing it at a simple king who's so arrogantly standing in front of you. It is not just becoming ineffective, it is becoming a garland. So see that deity's naughtiness there. This is Kali.
Playfulness.
Playfulness to such an extent that
You're insulted.
ideology of reality will crumble. What? Imagine, like, I've gone through like this 1,000 years of tapasya. I've come here with Mahadeva's Trishula and you made it a garland. So you cannot even attack my bhakta, and not just that your weapon is inactive, I will make it a garland. This is like layers of insult, right? She's giving it to Parasurama, who is her shishya, chosen shishya, right? And then
Beloved.
Yeah, beloved. She absolutely loves him, right? So when you understand Parasurama, you will understand Bhadrakali. So Bhadrakali is intensely both sides of the Vajra. She is there. For example, in Kodungallur Bhadrakali Kshetram, there is something called a Teripatu. Teripatu means the song of profanities. Can you imagine that there is a tradition in a Devi Kshetra where a song of abuses is sang to her?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if you have a Malayali friend, ask him to translate the song. It will be quite intense.
Yeah.
Please prepare yourself and try to understand it. Many people in Kerala itself, they are like, no, it is not culture, it is all that, but it is there, it is still
It is true.
Which means she is accepting a song of profanities. Can you connect this with something to do with Bengal? The only parampara that can connect to this? Bama Khepa. So the only parampara of Bengal, the direct connection with Bengal and Kerala Devi Upasana is through Bhama Khepa. He is the one who did this there. Right? And he connects directly to Bhadrakali of Kodungallur there. Because he did that in Tarapit. This is the intensity of Bhadrakali, and it is such that she, not just one simple Kshetra alone, he established her in Kerala and also established 64 other Kali Kshetras, which means each of her Yogini Tattva is as powerful as Kali. So the entire Kerala Sadhana Vidhis of Ma Bhadrakali is beginning to take over now, and I think it is the Vajra has now turned, and this specific south this Kshetra will now rise very much. And these forms are consecrated without Abhaya Mudra and Varada Mudra. So many people come, stand Kali bol diya to Bengali hai, bolke Bengali hai. Like what else? They'll come and they'll come for fight with me in the comment section and all that. Why you're not doing this? Why you're not doing that as per Bengal and all that? I would like to tell them that there is a completely different world here, and for that you need to understand Parasurama. Because if you do not understand Parasurama, you will not understand the extremely naughty and playful nature of Bhadrakali. And she is Adya Mahakali, because if the sadhaka itself is so high that he is called an avatar of Mahavishnu, if he establishes one specific Devi and he has also attained all the divine weapons of Mahadeva itself, what state of Kali he has established there? And there is no Shaktipit there. Ma Sati's Shaktipit you will not find in Kerala, but you will find this network.
Yeah.
It's like a whole network of Adya Mahakali and her yoginis. And very interestingly, if you find my grandmother, maternal and paternal side, all of them have one of the Bhadrakali forms as the Kula Devi. Chema. So probably one of the purposes of this mission itself and rising from the south, probably it is to tell the world about this specific form of deity that is seated in Kerala. And you understand Parasurama, the Ugrata that he is. When he establishes, it will be without Abhay Mudra, Varda Mudra only. Right?
The embodiment of the sadhaka.
Yeah. And in Chammanadu Bhadrakali Koil, which is in Kerala, if you see, they're so, like, what do you tell them? They have consecrated Devi in Tandav form. Kali in Tandav form. When we are afraid to worship Kali in our house only, when we speak about you should not worship her in your house, you should worship her Abhay Mudra, Varada Mudra. Without Abhay Mudra, Varada Mudra, in Tandav they they consecrated her.
Ugrata.
So you need to understand Parasurama for that.
Yes.
That guts, because he saw her in battlefield only. He saw her in battlefield. He was Bhairava Tattva.
So technically, the intent behind the Sankalpa is what matters.
So, Kali at her highest form in Mahavidya,
Yes.
a sadhaka can rise beyond and consecrate one of her energies and do the prana pratishta, and yes, it is relevant. If Kali likes it, it will propagate.
Great.
That is a proof. No matter how many comments you put saying that what form is this, ye iska dhyana mantra kya hai? Ho gaya. Dhyana mantra is khadga only. Ho gaya. So, the specific form, many people, they get pulled into Bengal and they try to make sense of this form. For that, you need to understand Kerala. That is where it began. It's an ancient one. It is the oldest Kali temple in India, Kodungalur Bhadrakali. And she also takes Tiripata, the song of profanities. It is cultural. Can you believe that? That is something intense. That means both sides of the Vajra is active there. You praise me with praises, you praise me with profanities. Both are there. That makes it truly ancient and it connects directly to the culture that is this Parampara Bama Khepa. Only one who can connect Bengal and Kerala is Bama Khepa.
I was able to kind of find something interesting because in the Telugu states, Renuka Yellama is very revered, especially in Telangana, in Hyderabad. Renuka Yellama is a very popular form, and Renuka Yellama is the mother of Parasurama. And then the transgender community, they really worship with a devotion. So basically Renuka Yellama is the god for transgender people in a way, because they treat her as their Kula Devam. Even though transgender can be from any Kula, for them as a group they treat her as a Kula Devam. And connecting the part of Ninda Stuti, from the profanity that they use.
Song of profanity.
Song of profanities, right? The Teripat. Yeah, and this concept also in Gangalamma Tali Jatara, that's called Jatara is basically a procession. So in Telugu states, Devis usually have Jatara, the local Grama Devatas, where all the people get together, they kind of celebrate that occasion, whatever occasion it is. Profanity is used, like a very, very high degrees of intense profanity is used. So that also, in both cases, the commonality is that both of the situations, it has something to do with a masculine character, a very deeply masculine character, learning the femininity. So even in the first case about Renuka Yellama, and then the second case about Gangalamma, where Devi punishes a person who is consumed by lust. So anyone from Tirupati region, for them Gangalamma Tali Jatara is very, very popular. Now this circles back to this concept of Shaktipita that you have mentioned, where if someone is born in certain geography, in certain setting, they should give highest reverence to the Shaktipita closest to them until they realize that the asana itself is a Shaktipita, is a Kshetra. But at least in the initial stages of sadhana, they should not go looking far beyond that space. So what is your advice to people? Of course, you have given the general instructions. What is the importance of, apart from this whole understanding your, let's say, settings or understanding your identity, not to have identity crisis, what is that one thing that you would like to stress upon when it comes to this local cultures? Because you see that there is a common thread. There is a common thread between different geographies of the country, and then unless someone understands their local identity, their local culture, they won't be able to join the dots. So what is your advice to a sadhaka, not just a normal person, but a sadhaka, on how to navigate these things? So where should they start? Because again, they might end up with a question saying that if I'm worshipping Bhairava and Mahadya, why should I learn about my local culture? Is that even relevant? What is the relevance?
So every body that is birthed, and has a specific bloodline through which it is birthed, it has its own set of kripas, and the asan from where the bloodline is birthed, it will have its own deities powering that bloodline. It is just a very powerful add-on to have, probably one of the most powerful add-on and the first activated Kavach. If your sadhana has to take hold, it will take at least 3 years. 1,000 days is the minimum for any deity for that matter. Kali to 1,000 intense days. There's a difference. 1,000 days for any deity, that is 3 years roughly. Kali, 1,000 sincere days where you are like him, addicted to that nama. So it could be more than 3 years, it could be 10, 20 years also for Kali, right? That is when the deity's energy begins to, it begins to sort of absorb within you and forms an energy body around you. However, for the Kula Deva, the moment you take the Sharan of the Kula Deva, that moment only the Kavach is active. From that moment only you're protected. At least the basic levels which probably cannot be attained by somebody who does not have a Kula, then no, topic is closed. But the Kula Deva should be propitiated at least once a year. Go to your Kula Kshetram, take the blessings and come back. That is something compulsory that has to be done. It cannot be skipped. Now the minus point or the negative aspects of worshipping I would not say lower, the Grama Devatas is that the extent to which they have been consciously manifested and connected to the highest powers is not that high.
So let's call it the domain of influence.
Yeah, domain of influence, correct.
Okay.
That's the right term. Domain of influence does not cover the highest state. You take any Hindu, randomly pull them out, they will not be able to understand beyond Ma Shodashi. Right, because she is understandable as per, if you take Tamil Nadu, Amman, which is simply the term for Devi, or Kerala you take Bhagavati. What is it for Telugu? Ammavaru. A person whose knowledge only is to that local extent, they can till make sense up to Ma Shodashi. Beyond that is where Shiva begins to transmute it into something else altogether, completely different energy. Beyond the Kailashanath is where Ma Tara and Ma Kali come in. So if you continuously worship only the specific Grama Devata alone, you will lose out a very large chunk of consciousness that has been invoked and attained by great rishis. Right? So yeah, take the blessings if you are from that part. If you are from that specific village, take the blessings. Keep it with you. That's a first and ready Kavach for you. But only if you are born there. I see sometimes as some local deities, Grama Devatas, they get worshipped by somebody who has no connection at all because it is trending bolke. That was like normal 3 years, 4 years it will take for you to attain oneness with the energy. But if your body is from there, just like you and me were just discussing on one specific subject. Like I was born in Kerala, and our cuisine is light, right? So I can only digest light masala, but though I can have a lot of quantity can be high, but masala content I cannot handle to the same extent that you can, because you are from Hyderabad, and we were just talking about you winning a contest in some other country where the most spicy food you're able to win the contest because your appetite and
the gut bacteria,
the I don't know, the ability of your tongue itself to have that level of spices is much higher. So there is a difference in the body, right? Both of us are Indians.
Yeah.
Right? Both of us can communicate in the same or talk about the same Kali, but the body is different.
Yeah.
So similarly, your Grama Devatas are provided you're born there, and that is your Kula, they will be the fastest to defend you against any kind of negative or any kind of prayoga. They'll be the first. Yeah, absolutely. The first and the most powerful Kavach. They cannot be penetrated easily. Unless somebody is, and in fact, somebody has to do a prayoga on you. There is something called bandhan of the Kula Deva. Only then they can touch you. Right? So the eyes of the Kula Deva is tied. And only then so-called black magic, all that can be done on you. Sthambh and Mar and whatever it is. So if the Kula Deva is actually protecting you, you can do nothing to that person. So if you know your Kula Deva yearly once, yearly twice, on any special days, monthly once, whatever it is, go there to their specific kshetra and worship. To the kshetra you should go and worship. But of course, if you've never gone there but you have attained the 3-4 years of Kali Sadhana, Bhairava Sadhana, then their protection is already there.
So they become the Kula Deva.
They become the Kula Deva. Bhairava, though, every deity he takes, no?
Yeah.
But it will take 3-4 years.
Yes, of course. Effort.
By default, you have this protection, might as well keep it going.
Exactly.
Till their body is, and that also protects your children even if they never do their sadhana. Your local deity,
bloodline.
Grama Devatas, they will be protected. Children will be protected by these deities just because you worship them. Whereas you might not be able to protect them to that extent if the kids don't worship Kali. Right? So Grama Devatas or your Kula Deva, forever they'll protect the Kula, provided you, the parent, and then if the child worships, then the child's child, the Kula is always protected. Right? You cannot guarantee Kali's protection if the child never, as an adult, 20 to 25-year-old child never worships Kali, you cannot guarantee.
Cannot be guaranteed, yeah.
Kula Deva is not like that. So this is a very powerful consciousness that is consecrated very beautifully by our ancestors. Make use of it. We should not be so British stylized that we call ourselves Lord Mountbatten and we forget this, look down upon our deities. To gaya. Such a person, if you're looking down at your Kuladeva, probably will not even progress in Bhairava Sadhana. The Kuladeva can stop that.
Yeah.
If you're looking down on your deities. If you don't know, now this is the immediate question that will come. What if I don't know my Kuladeva? Then do Bhairava Sadhana. Khatam. He will
3
take
years.
the 3 years हो जाएगा लेकिन protection के लिए. लेकिन आ जाएगा 100%. The other question that will always come, Narasimha.
Yeah.
Just like what I've just told you for such a extended period of time, that go and do the Kuladeva sadhana at the Kuladeva Kshetra.
Eventually, yeah.
But continue your sadhana of Bhairava. Don't club all energies together. Right? You do full-fledged Bhairava sadhana, full-fledged Narasimha, so absolutely pointless, because sadhana, one lifetime, you can only do one form. Right? It is only Bhairava who transmutates from Vatuka all the way till Mahakala Bhairava, he can go. Provided Kala Bhairava to Mahakala Bhairava, Kali is required. Because he becomes a rishi only for Kali at that point. However, if it is Narasimha, don't do Narasimha sadhana 2 hours a day, Bhairava sadhana 2 hours a day. No. Kuladeva hai, you know the Kshetra.
Take the blessings.
Take blessings, monthly ones, weekly ones also you go. Irrespective, there is no energy clash at all, because it's Kuladeva, body is from there. Right? Sadhana, one deity, Ishta. 3 years after that, that deity will take over completely, but the Kuladeva will continue to protect the progenies. Kula is protected.
Jaimana. So now, something that is very much related to what you have spoken regarding the abhichara, the black magic and stuff. So the general recommendation for the sadhakas is to recite Kavacham. And many people ask this question, what does it mean to activate a Kavacham, right? So the general explanation is that you recite it enough number of times. And then the follow-up question usually is, what Kavacham to pick? Because people are not really satisfied when they are told that any Kavacham is the same. Let's say if you have Kali Kavacham, there can be 108 types. But the point is, they are not really satisfied to hear that any Kavacham is the same, as long as you're picking one and activating it. So what is your advice to the people when it comes to Kavacham? Because what is the role of a Kavacham, the recitation, apart from visiting a Kuladeva, apart from taking the Krupa from the Guru, invoking the Guru, the Parampara, because everything is a Kavach in itself. So apart from this, when it comes to the recitation of Kavacham itself, what should be the mindset of someone, and how do you guide the people who are very confused about what Kavacham to pick?
So the fastest activating Kavach will be the Kavach of your Ishta. Keeping the Kuladeva aside. Kuladeva, by visiting the Kshetra itself, it's activated. Right? He'll completely continue to power you. And even your children, everything is protected. But if you have no Kuladeva and you're dependent on Ishtadeva, the Ishta's Kavach, any Kavach is the actual answer. But confidence chahiye. For that, you should have the true Ishta. Ishta ka sadhana, if you're really doing, you should not have a lack of confidence thinking, ye Kavach karunga, to protection nahi aayega. Ye thought hi wrong hai. That means Ishta is not correctly being
placed.
The worship is not right. Otherwise, how can you have the doubt? Kavach kya hai? It's a basic shield. So Ishta will not even give that much. That confidence you don't have. It's going to take 3 years minimum. To activate a Kavach properly, it will take 3 years. But Ishta's Kavach is the fastest acting. Like you're doing the sadhana of Ma Durga and you do the Kavach of Bhairava, it doesn't make sense. Because now why should Bhairava Kavach work for you when you're full time you're spending on Durga sadhana? So you should do the sadhana of your Ishta. Right? Kali Kavach specifically, why I don't give is because the Kavach that I have perfected for myself is extremely powerful. This is the actual answer. It is so powerful that forget prayogas, it can even restrict other divinities' progress in that specific kshetra, because there is a kshetra. Right? The name is growing to this extent and all that. It is under the Kavach of that specific deity and it's very powerful. It has Maran in it. It has Thamban in it. And all that. So anybody attacking the kshetra or trying to pull it down, directly Maran, Stambhan, all of them will automatically start manifesting in their life, even if I don't know their names. Right? So this sort of a Kavach, if I'm going to give it to somebody, it could be disastrous. Right? You don't want to end up losing your family because you had a fight and you're looking at that your sister or brother as an enemy. You might, if you're not matured enough to not look at your sister or brother as an enemy, it might not even activate for you because you're looking at your own sister as an enemy. It might not even activate. So that is why I don't specifically give Kavach. Any Kavach I say, because if you stumble upon, find this Kavach and you start reciting that, then probably Devi wants you to do it. Yeah. Any Kali Kavach is Kali Kavach. Any Bhairava Kavach is Bhairava Kavach. Now people will ask me, what if there's a bija? So what?
It's given.
Sadhana of the specific deity, right? What is going to happen if you do this Kavach with the bija? This is all gatekeeping that has created this thought within you. That is why Brahma lost his head. So you don't have to fear, right? For Bhairava, you can't gatekeep the gatekeeper, is the only point I'll tell you. And even if there is a bija, Kavach can be activated. Fastest activating Kavach would be Ma Durga. If you're in any Durga related sadhana and all, definitely your go-to choice, very powerful, fast acting, Vatuka Bhairava, right? Kali, though, you don't have to say only, but it is not for everybody. But if you're doing Kali sadhana, any Kali Kavach is extremely powerful. But once she takes over, all energies are muted there.
Thanks, Anna. So now, because we are talking about the femininity, the feminine side, right? In fact, coincidentally, all the topics that we were discussing, even when it comes to Arjuna, because Arjuna's feminine side was explored in the form of Brihannala, right, at the end of the Vanvas that they had, Ajnatavas, right? And then we came to Renuka Yellamma. We also spoke about Gangalamma, all these forms. A major group of questions that that are posed are from women, especially even though this topic is very much addressed. It's extensively addressed. In fact, I think this was one of the, let's say, it has got the major share of focus. But yet, they keep asking about sadhana during periods, what procedures to follow during periods. In fact, you have given a proper video also regarding the testosterone cycle, 11th day as per the video. But yet, I think the message has not reached to the larger section of the people, and they keep posing these questions, not just on YouTube, but also on Instagram Reels. So, what is your advice to women who are having ambiguity, or let's say who are kind of not so sure about their sadhana, about how to deal with this situation with the periods and the monthly cycles?
That's right. For a Shakti sadhaka, especially when I say Tantra or when I say Devi Upasana, I always, for me, it is just Kali, right? So for Kali sadhaka, even thinking that you could be inauspicious during periods is a risk to your sadhana itself. The path only will shut down for you, right? That is you rejecting your body. You have rejected your birth also, and you have become inauspicious if you think during periods time your sadhana's journey is closed. Khatam. Number one. Number two, if you are weak, if you do not feel like you can sit during those days, then yes, due to weakness, you can pause your sadhana even during Sankalp. It will not have any negative impact on you. However, what is my actual advice? Don't stop. That is my actual advice. Should you stop because of periods? No. That is my answer. You should specifically continue feeling that you are even more pious for Kali. Right? Many of the other Devi forms and their paddhatis and vidhis and the thought consciousness has not reached this point. So they will not understand. Right? So they will sit down over there thinking that they are not clean. This will disturb their sadhana. However, for Kali sadhaks, during periods, you are not just impure or pure is not the question. You are at that moment, if you sit down, it is even more powerful because you are also being powered by another specific Mahavidya by the name Ma Matagi, who is the sun itself. Her planet is sun. You don't want sun? You don't want sun impact in your life, which is the king of the planets, right? She is inauspiciousness. So that moment, the entire household should celebrate this woman. In fact, if there is a woman in her periods and the man thinks that he can't do sadhana because his wife is in periods, that will only end his Kali sadhana. Inauspiciousness does not exist in this subject because what is the periods? It is the leftovers of what Prakriti did not use for creation.
Life force.
Yeah, the life force is coming out, and at that moment you are saying it is dirty, unclean. What? Khatam ho gaya na. This is all the typical fifth head losing moment. Then inside the fifth head of Brahma, which Bhairava carries, there is nothing dirty, impure about periods. In fact, it is to be celebrated, and that is the whole point of Makhamukhya. So, a Devi sadhaka, when I say Devi, Kali, you cannot say that my periods, can I do sadhana? A thought has to be uprooted and replaced with I am most pious when I am in my periods. This is where the answer is. Not that you sit down and do it even during periods. Wo nahi hai. You have to replace it by saying that I am the most pious during my periods, because Devi, Ma does not reject what she created, and especially what is the leftovers of creation only, how can you reject? right? So this is where the tantric path comes out. This is where the left-handed path comes out. You sit and call yourself a tantric, and then you reject something like this that is probably the most powerful emanation of creation itself in human body. Your path is more or less, you're just kidding yourself and you're just fooling yourself. You lost the path. So the answer is yes. You should do sadhana, especially for Kali. You should do. For Bhairava, yes, you should do. And if you feel that you can't do because you are impure, it is time for you to realign and check whether you are on the right path, first of all.
Okay. Now, the next question, usually the follow-up question is that, so there is a set of sadhakas, the woman. Again, I'm using a gender neutral term like sadhaka, like, some people call them sadhika, but anyway, yeah. So they're fine as long as when it comes to their asana, they're fine. But the question that they pose is, when I enter a space, let's say it's a temple, maybe some other temple, other form, they have to visit, someone is doing a specific worship or specific puja of some form where they have to visit, right? So these people have this conflict, whether they have to enter that space or not. So again, in this case, the general recommendation is that when you enter a space that does not belong to you, you respect the conditions and you respect the achara of that place. You don't impose your own achara, your own morality to that place, right? That's the general recommendation. But what would you tell them just to stress upon this? Because as long as it is our asana, the rules of the parampara, your guru's adesh, your practices apply. But as long as we enter something else, we are a guest. So what is your take on this?
That is my take too. So I would say that for the tantric, for the tantra margi, for the tantra sadhak, the asana is the highest. And generally I even do not even suggest just casually visiting kshetras like that. Right? You have to take a sankalp. 11 days is the minimum sankalp for any kshetra you visit. Sometimes people text me and ask me about Kashi. My mother has planned, my father has planned, I want to go. Whatever it is, you take sankalp and go. Right?
Like a pilgrimage.
Sorry?
Like a pilgrimage.
Yeah, it has to be sankalp. You make a proper connection with the deity for 11 days or 48 days, and then you go that the impact is completely different and you're protected also. And don't make it for that day, for you alone, she will come and sit. Right? So that is how you treat outside kshetras. You do not just casually walk in there. And if you feel that that specific kshetra and its niyamas are set in such a way that you cannot enter during specific days, then don't.
Yeah.
But you should not feel that your ineligibility to enter or eligibility to enter has any bearing on your sadhana or you yourself, because your actual asana is in your house. You have no business thinking about that other space, because udhar devi hai ya nahi hai depends on the pujari's shakti. Whereas yahan pe to hai 100%. So to see the same deity, you don't have to go there, you sit here. During periods, without periods, out of question.
Thank you. Thanks, Anna. So now coming to this topic that I wanted to touch upon previously, that is the Indian canine breeds, right? Because one very important thing when it comes to the iconography of a devata, apart from the weapons, apart from the ornaments, so there's detailed descriptions of the kind of bhoga that a devata likes, the kind of days of a week, the kind of planets they are associated to. The vahanas are given a very prominent position, and of course these have been discussed in detail, in much detail, but then a lot of people tend to pose questions. So what would you like to talk, let the people know regarding the Shwana, the dog, as a Bhairava Vahana? What is its importance, and what is your association with the Indian canine breeds? What is your association? What has been your journey? If you can briefly go through.
So if you look at it purely as a most boring way of putting it would be astrological way of telling you. Any astrologer you go to, they will say that you feed dogs, you can please Shanidev. You feed dogs, you can please Ketu. You will get all the negative effects of Shanidev or Ketu will reduce. This is where the answer is, right? The reason why dogs have become extremely powerful during the golden, after the golden era of Kali Yuga, why they become extremely powerful as time passes, the answer lies with Yudhishthira and the dog. Dharma. When Yudhishthira finally attains the ability to walk till the gates of Swargaloka, he stopped because they don't let his dog pass, right? Why did that happen? Such an incident is not described anywhere from the Satyuga, Dwapara, Treta, nowhere it is described. But ultimately at the end of Dwapara, you find that Yudhishthira is not allowed to enter. Why? The question lies with the dog. The inauspicious part of the dog, representing the inauspiciousness that is there in the conscious manifestation of Devi itself, has not been treated right, or has not yet been accepted by the so-called divinity that we perceive divinity as. So the dog here represents everything inauspicious, right? Yeah, no matter what you do and how big of a priest you are, how big of a pujari you are, how big of a ritualistic worshipper you are, बड़ा कितना भी बड़ा संप्रदाय हो, if Yudhishthira से तो बड़ा नहीं होगा, right? That man held dharma,
Embodied dharma.
saw Krishna in person. उससे तो बड़ा I don't think there's anybody here around.
In fact, he's called Dharmaraju in Telugu.
Yes, Dharmaraj, right? So nobody can go above him in Kali Yuga, for sure. Even his final test was, how do you treat the Vahana of Bhairava? Because now, repeat episodes are going to end. Now is a chance for us to attain moksha and plan our re-entry. The time has come, but the moksha is lying with Kashi, Bhairava. Vahana is there. So how you treat and how is your interaction with the Bhairava energy determines your state of moksha. This is very beautifully placed in the Dwapara Yuga, and with Yudhishthira entering the Swargaloka is restricted. No matter what or how big you have been, how have you treated the dogs, and everything that is represented by the dogs, that is DK. Everything that is rejected by all of us, every experience or everything that we have owned. But let's say that you have a great dish at home, you have it and you just put the plate in the sink, but you enjoyed the food. You enjoyed the food on the plate. It was tasted really good, but you didn't wash it because the washing is somebody else's job.
Yeah. So
right?
The entirety of the
cycle
experience
is not complete. Right. The dogs represent that. From Satya, Treta, Dwapara to the golden age of Kali Yuga, we have all touched upon the white energy, the dark energy, the black energy is represented by the dog that could not enter with Yudhishthira.
That's treated as inauspicious.
Auspicious. Now, ab isko khana padega. The entire Kali Yuga, you'll have to consume that.
Inauspiciousness.
Inauspicious,
not the dog.
We're not attacking any
exactly.
country here, right? So you will have to consume everything that is inauspicious now. That is represented by the dog. So not just that, one of Vahana of Bhairava, of course, is the dog. Feeding of the dog can get you the
blessings. Benefits
of Shanideva's side, Ketu, which allows you to attain Pretasana and then fix your new head. You know, your rebirth sits there again. The evidence that it is moksha sitting over there, right? Then comes Ma's name, which is Kukurale Nivasani, there where dogs are kept. She resides where there is dogs.
Okay.
Kukura Sangha Samyukta. She is around where dog groups are available. So I saw some of the questions that is there in this PDF where we was looking at that. In my society there are no dogs. What should I do? I'm very sorry. If you want to find Jnana in Satyuga, you'll have to walk for 10,000 kilometers. You'll have to walk from Kanyakumari to Himalaya, and somewhere you'll find some Jnani giving you Jnana. Today it's coming all the way till your house in a PDF, right? And you cannot walk 2 streets and find a dog.
That effort.
And the lack of finding the dog easily is also part of karma.
Like a nimita.
And anybody going after the dogs, trying to take care of them, will be protested against by the power positions. They will try to push you off, and the power position attains arrogance and says the dog is again niche, inauspicious, throw them out. Ye situation aa jayega. It's already here, right? So they will all have their time. The time, circle of time keeps coming around, and the dogs are going to be a huge factor in understanding how you have perceived the creation of Devi. And you cannot reject inauspiciousness. Bamdev, though, full time he was with his dogs. His first shishya, he says, is my dogs. And he says that his best shishyas who had done something wrong, or some sadhakas who have something wrong, they come back and live in the kshetra as a dog. That is what he says, Kalu Baba. Yeah. So when somebody tried to just swat him off, just send the dog away from Bamdev so that he can have a conversation with Bamdev, he roared. And he said that this dog lives here with pure bhakti on Devi, and you, on the other hand, are just an arrogant person. And your Devi sadhana is below this dog, right? So dogs, especially dogs born in the asan, they have a huge role to play. And they represent everything inauspicious that our bloodlines have rejected. So Bhairava Vahana, yes, moksha sign there, evidenced by Yudhishthira, All yagyas, everything has done. Sadhana, yagya, bhakti, dharma, sab kuch. Inauspicious ko kaise dekhte ho? How have you treated inauspiciousness? Either only you will get your glory. And inauspiciousness, the Devi form represented with inauspiciousness, Mahatangi represents sun. So he who attains heights on the inauspicious, so even in Bhairava path, everybody is after Bhairava, and like Bhairava is such a viral term right now. Everybody is looking at big temples, big organizations, big crores they are looking at, but who is talking about the dog?
Not the big players.
Big players or anybody with who wants to establish Bhairava, you first work for the dog. That is when, anybody you ask casually, they say that when a dog comes towards me, it is a sign of Bhairava's presence. There only the answer is there, no? Yes. If when the dog comes to you, your sadhana is tick marked, your yagya is tick marked, and he has accepted the sadhana you're saying,
the offering,
then why did the dog come? Which means only when the dog is appropriated and taken care of, you can. That is the reverse route actually, right? For the simple dog Bhairava, the greatest Shakti lies in that, because it connects to Kali also. Canine family, her Canis Aurus Indicus and Canis lupus familiaris, the female jackal and the Indian canine dog, they're all canine. Devi's, yes, canine family. So Devi's vahana is also from the dog family only, and they share 99.5% DNA. So, and the Indian canine can interbreed with the jackal. Okay. So vahanas are not just picked out of the air. They have a lot of science in it actually.
Anna, so especially for the working professionals, because these days people don't have the luxury to just sit in sadhana for like whole day, right? So they have to take care of their daily responsibilities. They have to provide for the family. They have to ensure that they make a living, and then have a proper priority for sadhana. So in the initial phases, some of the sadhakas pose questions saying that they're not interested in anything else. They're not interested in the material life. They don't want to do their job anymore. Wherever they go, they see Kali. So how does one navigate this? Because end of the day, if they are running away from the responsibility which they are put into, that is also not correct as per the dharmic perspective. So how do you advise, how do you suggest that these people should navigate through the situation?
See, very rarely, maybe one in few lakhs might be able to have a career, or if I have to use that word, career in Devi, right? His entire lifetime itself will be spent talking about Devi. That is extremely rare. One of the signs of that would be intense pull, that when you start talking about a specific deity, people will be drawn towards you. Only that person will have a lifetime spent in talking about Devi, and right, life only will be spent on building temples. That will be there in the horoscope also. Most people can find out if there is yoga of having Kumbha Abhishekam done, and all that is there in the horoscope, right? Such a person only will be able to not have a job and all that, and even for such a person, it has to come naturally. When is the karmic Ranad Bandhana complete? And when does that handoff happen to complete lifetime spent on Devi sadhana? For most, it will be post-retirement. That is when naturally, if you see, people become very spiritual after or towards the end of their working life.
The career.
So daughters are married off, son is married, son is settled, daughter is settled, and they finally become like they're not able to go to job anymore. They're 58, 60, they become spiritual. Right. Whereas for a sadhaka, you are accelerating this. Right. It is possible that you might be able to do that 30, 35 also. But how many will be able to make a complete career only talking about Devi? That is very rare. So never quit your job just because you feel like the rust is going off. Right. Don't forcefully take a step saying that now with a full time I want to do this only, I've lost interest in that. You will end up making so many karmic rana, agami karma, with your bloodline cursing you, your wife cursing you, your son is cursing you, daughter is cursing you, and you'll land up at a state where you will be badly locked in the same bloodline. So sometimes certain lethargy could be masked, and it might appear as if it is because of Devi's influence that you want to quit your job. No, shut up and show up. That is the only advice I have. If it is meant to be where Devi is your only, full-time job, right? It will happen by itself. It will begin to show up in your life, right? Just because you have that feeling today, don't quit your job and run off into the forest, and don't even have that thought. It is again, yogic process versus tantric process. Yogic is like ignore everything, go sit in an ashram, pretend that you have no desires and nothing and sit in an ashram. Are you sure about, is everybody at that state where you can quit and run away? Where you can quit defined life? Then why are you born in a family? Why are you born with limbs? Why are you born with all feelings and all that, right? Why do you ignore it? So probably something might open up because of which your career can be built in a field which makes more sense to you. That is what you should power, right? So that your career becomes so interesting that you are so engaged that Devi becomes small. That is the right way to do it. Obsession will be there. After that, when the new life begins, you will be aligned towards something that makes most sense to you. But will it be sadhana only as a lifestyle? Very rarely. Very rarely. Sadhana will be a huge part of your lifestyle, but can you make sadhana your full-time job?
Yeah. So technically, the marker should be that whenever they want to shift from the responsibilities of professional career, there should be least resistance, because the only sign that it naturally happens is that everything aligns, where people don't expect something else, because the moment they start expecting, there's a karma and rinanubandha, and that it can be grina, it can be expectations.
There are certain things that will not allow you to exit. So then ask Devi
Some
for the
kind of
strength
bond.
to just go on. Right? Don't quit and run. Escapism will only lock you. You cannot escape karma. Right? It will only lock you further. So find something, engage yourself into something that will make your life more fun and more easier. If you like to be a dancer, there is a desire within you to be a dancer, take up dance. There is a desire within you to do something that is very unconventional, but it is there. That could keep you alive in your very boring job also. But don't try to run away from your job saying that you want to be a sadhaka. Many organizations allow it, but that could be a big trap for a future, future birth. Yeah.
And now a slightly controversial topic actually. So this is about homosexuality. So many sadhakas, they have these questions like, how does this matter? If let's say if someone is a homosexual, it can be male or female, doesn't really matter. How does that sexual orientation matter when it comes to sadhana? Because the general guideline is that it doesn't matter, because as long as they are respecting their own boundaries, they're having consent, and they keep it to themselves, because it's a private issue, it's a very deeply private issue. So but then how do you address this? Because many people are posing these questions on Instagram, especially Instagram, not on the YouTube comments, but Instagram comments. People ask like, how does this affect? What is the karmic aspect of it? How do we get this, let's say, is it correct or not, like morally? So they have all sorts of questions. How do you address this?
See, sadhana is a deeply private thing, right? And it is something that you do when you're on the pyre. That is the whole point of Bhairava and Kali sadhana, right? So you do not expect the society to make sense of you as long as you can make sense of yourself. That is all it is. Sadhana is a deeply private, alone, lonely path. Then why do you want the society to accredit anything about you, whether it is, whether you like a man or a woman? It makes no difference, right? As long as you are at peace. But if you're trying to make the society also attain peace with what you are, then it will be a very difficult, stringent, strenuous path that you're trying to take it up. So most of these questions mean that they themselves have not accepted them. That is what you should work on.
So the external validation, the need for external
The
validation.
body does, the burnt body does not have the ears. The burnt body cannot hear. The burnt body cannot feel. It simply accepts itself as it is. Only such a person can do Kali sadhana, right? So if whatever is your orientation, it is immaterial as long as you are able to attain shunyata and peace with what you are. So it does not matter whether you're like a man or a woman, as long as you are at peace with what you are. But if you're continuously asking what does it mean in sadhana, you are Devi's creation. All of your thoughts, your being itself is Devi. So don't try to make others judges of your life. You be at peace with what you are and live happily. Sadhana is a private journey. Whatever you feel, discuss with Devi. Right? So orientation does not have bearing on your sadhana. But you having identity crisis where am I wrong, am I right, that will have bearing.
Yeah. So the sense of doubt, the ambiguity will
Is again you
definitely hinder
basing
the
on
progress.
external factors. That will absolutely destroy your sadhana.
Because instead of looking for acceptance from the deity, people are looking for acceptance from
From
the society.
other people.
So that means the deity is not as highly placed as society. So that's again a mismatch.
You as a creation, no matter how dark, no matter how bright, how excellent or how terrible you are in a closed room, that is accepted by the deity because she is your creator. So whatever you are, whether you are good, bad, average, as accredited by the society does not matter before Devi. But if you strive for the society to accept it, you will never be at peace, right? So for that you should understand the name Ghrina. 186, the name of Kali is Ghrina, which is hate. Probably no other deity on the planet has a name called hate. So if you're feeling hate, that is you experiencing consciousness that is manifested as hate. If you find that people are hating you because of your orientation, then you're probably learning an aspect of consciousness that she wants you to experience. And you're just jnana. Right? In a future birth or in the same birth, you'll be able to teach hate better. Because hate is also an emotion. Everybody can teach happiness.
Or even how to navigate.
Everybody can teach you what is sweet. It's so sweet, it feels so good. But how do you teach hate? Only somebody who has felt the stone on their face, only somebody who has felt the burn of the acid as an acid victim, they can teach you a lot more than I can teach, right? If I have experienced an acid burn, I can teach you pain in ways that probably you and me will not be able to understand, right? So you're learning something within consciousness. A state has been exposed to you. Learn it. But don't be too identified with yourself. Don't think that I am oriented in this way. No, I am manifested in this way in which my orientation is this. I am learning this state. This is how a sadhaka thinks. So the moment the question only is raised, I have a problem. Because you're formless. Your Atma is formless. It is within this body, so it is experiencing the state. Learn it, feel it, move on. Right? Many things will not be accepted by the society. Kali only is not accepted. Kali, how many people are keeping at home?
If a deity can't be accepted, why
do you need anybody else to accredit?
But
Kali accepts. That I have no doubt in it. Yeah.
So another set of questions are from men largely. So especially in the path of Devi, when we say that women have to be, especially anything feminine, the femininity has to be placed at the highest position. Whether the woman hates you or the woman loves you, whatever the emotion of the woman towards a man is, especially who's a sadhaka, he has to accept it fully. So many people pose a question like, what if they're doing adharma? What if they're doing a mistake? What if they're hurting me willfully? Should I not just act? Should I not take any legal recourse? Should I not take any, let's say, any sort of reaction from my side as a man? Would it cause severe repercussions in the sadhana of Devi? So again, here the beautiful example of Arjuna, where in the Kurukshetra, he's full of emotions and Krishna advises him to put the bow down and forget the emotion and just do it as a dharma karya, just to, not with emotion but without emotion. But this example, I think it needs more context or let's say, in your words, in further detail, how should people deal with it? This is very tricky situation.
So when we say that, experience femininity at its highest, it simply means to attain witness consciousness with everything feminine, right? So that because it is only the Prakriti tattvas, we have Purusha and Prakriti, basically Purusha and Prakriti. It is only the Prakriti that is capable of taking in more of itself. Prakriti can take in more of Prakriti. Purusha is a stable being. It doesn't have the ability to, it is like stuck, fixed, doesn't move. The Adhara does not move, but the Prakriti Tattva, the more it connects to Prakriti, it will widen itself. So it is only the feminine part within you that can widen and grow in its own depth of understanding, perceiving femininity and perceiving Prakriti. That is the yoni consciousness. Everything feminine is connected, interconnected. But of course, as you navigate her path and understand femininity, you will understand that some of the feminine aspects are not digestible. It will be, as time passes, it will become extreme and even more undigestible, right? But for the Kali Sadhaka, the first 1,000 days will burn and you will be exposed to aspects of femininity which you will not be able to contain and you will not be able to make sense of it. Just attain witness consciousness and do not make a feminine enemy. That is something you should avoid.
Consciously.
She will also make sure that you don't have a feminine enemy at all. If you're truly in the path of Kali, you will not have a feminine enemy, right? You will not have that. There will not be a woman who's trying to kill you. Even if there's a huge fight, you will probably just separate and walk off. That runner will break off by itself because it's an experience you are collecting, right? So don't make a feminine your enemy and don't try to destroy her. Maintain distance. Now, what if that situation demands you to be, you are being destroyed by feminine? It could be karmic, because most bloodlines have absolutely destroyed femininity inside it, have huge rananubandhanas of destroying women in their bloodlines. Female infanticide is there in your blood. So the feminine has simply taken another form and has come to destroy you. That could be the state. So you never truly know. Worship Ma, ask her for protection. She'll protect you and that thing will not exist anymore. But you should consciously accept that such a state is there. And it was hurt to such an extent it was trying to kill me. It is a very subjective thing. I cannot give you a straight example, because if femininity is trying to destroy you, there is something very dangerous that has happened in your bloodline. For a Kali Sadhaka, this is the only message. Karma hai. It is karmic, right? Usually she'll protect you and it will just dissipate. If a woman stands in front of you and is trying to shoot you down with a bullet, you have to protect yourself. You have to move. Protect yourself.
You can't just stand
there and just get killed. Invoke her protection and move. But don't make it your life's purpose to destroy a woman. That will be an absolute rejection in the path of Kali. But you have to experience, there are some of the names of yoginis itself suggest that there is Pishach energy too. Pishachini is also one of the energies of Kali. It's a yogini, it's a feminine energy, right? When you experience that, it is going to be something that is going to try and kill you only. You have to experience that.
In fact, it's very intense names. Shakini, Dakini, Pishachini, many intense
feminine energies. This will manifest in real life and show you in front of a form that might try to kill you, destroy you, will have just absolute mindless hate towards you. Experience it and ask Ma for mukti from it. It will move off. In my experience, it has always moved off. You will not have to sit and shoot the arrow, usually, because it is her teaching you how to witness it. It's a very sensitive topic.
Yes,
very difficult to address directly, because you never know. Bloodlines try to project themselves as the victim, but you don't know who your grandfather, great-grandfather, what they have done.
In fact, they might be unaware.
Mostly they're unaware.
Whole
point of femininity rising against men itself is all karmic. Because as bloodlines, we have been against femininity and suppressed them to such an extent. When the goddesses itself are suppressed and put into the side, and the womb is not respected, it will rise to such an extent that the rest of the yuga only will be spent in the worship of Devi.
So, beautifully explained. So, technically, the conscious mind should understand that whatever negative effects that they are seeing from a feminine or from a woman are basically the pending karma, and instead of directly retaliating, just ensure that they are first, if they have a physical danger, of course they have to take action, but then the person that they have to approach is Ma. So they should ask Ma Kali to protect them.
Femininity is attacking you, worship the divine feminine.
Divine feminine, that's it.
One question, I believe, in Delhi satsang, right, where the boy had claimed that there is history of female infanticide.
Okay.
And there was absolutely no worship of the divine feminine at all. But this fellow is absolutely mad about Kali, right? So the bloodline is changing itself.
Liberating.
From being the killers of the feminine to worshipping the feminine. It is happening, and that fix is coming. But he will definitely face situations where women come for their throat. For his throat.
So he has to bear the brunt for the bloodline.
Witness that also, and she will only protect. She's just showing him how ugly it has been in the blood.
Yeah.
Witness and come out of it. No other path. Burn through.
So basically, there's no escape.
Absolutely no escape.
Now, because we have covered about men, women. So another question that people have is, of course, this also has been addressed multiple times, about the form of the deity. So let's say they're worshipping a specific form of divine feminine, right? And then they might have a pull towards another form of divine feminine. So in this case, many people pose a question whether they're doing, let's say, injustice to the parampara, or let's say injustice to the teachings of the guru. How do they deal with this situation? Let's say, I'm not taking specific names because it's not just one particular form in general, right? So they start worship of Ma Kali, and then suddenly some other feminine form connects to them, or they feel that it's connecting. So how do they deal with this situation?
It is her nature. Kali's nature is that, she will test you with, are you sure that it is me? Do you want to consume this energy at this state? Or do you simply want to find a form that is simpler and easier and more soumya to take care? So that is how she'll test you. Most get pulled to that side. And they will have a great life running after that path, that form. But you should understand that all the Mahavidyas, they originate from Kali and go back to Kali. Right? So here we are talking about the core Shakti within every form. You should have the Hatha to say that no, she is mine, you are mine. I will not go for any other form. That Hatha she will test. If you don't have it, then she will simply push you off to another form and run away. That's nature. Shakti, all nature will try to run away. You will have to run after and hold on to the foot only and keep her there.
So
It's
the
a test.
perseverance, the determination.
It's a test.
It's a test, yeah.
With a proper doorway. That if you choose it, you will still have a good life worshipping that specific form.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it will be fine. Yes. But do you want it or not? It's for you to decide.
Yeah,
if you
it's
still
individual.
reject that form completely and continue to do sadhana, just she will take you on. But if you don't also, the other form opens up and you start chasing after that guru, that parampara. But be guilt free.
Yeah.
Go there and sit with guilt, then
Again, the identity crisis will continue and it will be a disaster. Yeah. So now coming to the most important question. So
most important question in the end.
at the end. So what was your intent behind agreeing to this format of a podcast, or let's say what is the future going forward when it comes to, we call it the podcast or satsang or clarifying sadhana related queries? What is the future? Why did you accept? What did you have in your mind? Why did you accept after so long, or why did this thought take so long to manifest?
it's all her doing, no? Jupiter has transited into a specific position, and we'll find a lot of things expanding this year. And I believe that it is time to also, the Murti is also walking around now. She's also come outside. Probably she wants to explore a lot of different formats and expand her name this year. And it's the year of Kala Bhairava. So she's also walking around a little bit. I hope that we have more of these interactive sessions where, it's just when people ask questions that the actual jnana flows, as opposed to me just sitting in dhyana and finding a new topic and speaking. That will be very limited. But the more questions come through from any shishya who wants to learn, that will be massive and fast. It's like a floodgate opening from a different source altogether. So I think this specific format is good. What do you feel? It works to an extent.
I think to large extent, because end of the day, the questions that are being posed are also collected from there were more than 1,000 questions which were categorized into themes, and of course there is a lot more ground to cover. We are just barely scratching the surface. The idea here is that this entire effort is to show a small trailer of what people are going through in the sadhana journey, and the outcome that we expect is that they'll find some sort of solace, they'll find some sort of progress, some sort of peace of mind, because the biggest killer for any sadhaka in their journey is the doubt, the self-doubt, whether am I doing a mistake, am I doing right? Because saying that I'm a Veera is one thing, but living the experience is entirely different aspect. So there are many obstacles, many hurdles in this process. I think this kind of direct knowledge transfer with, let's say, direct question answer format or conversational format, I think it really helps. And on behalf of the community of sadhakas, I sincerely thank you for accepting this this format and giving us the jnana. And we look forward to many such interactions.
People should mention in the comments if this is a useful format.
So we will see.
Both of us agreeing and they don't like it, then what's up?
Yeah, it's not just us patting on our own backs, but if people really want, so if they do comment on this videos, and if they do let us know that this is a useful format as per their opinion, I think many of this, with her blessings, might come. So any closing remarks, Anna?
Closing remarks, stick to your sadhana. That is all it is, all these doubts and all this, one way or the other, it will get cleared. Don't dwell on it too much and don't try to make too much sense of it. Don't try to, don't try to outwit the deity itself, thinking when I do this at this state, what is the generational curse that is opened? Don't look for the, chemistry lab kind of approach. If you add this chemical in this,
It's not a formula.
it's not a formula.
Yeah.
And
You are the formula.
we are the chemical also.
Yeah, exactly.
We are the ones who are going to burn up. We are also the burners. We are also test tubes, everything, right? You will not be able to compare your path with anybody else. You could have the most silent sadhana for 10 years. And then the 11th year, you could be the guru of thousands. Until then, nobody would have known your name. Those are all real life stories I'm speaking.
It's a non-linear path. So
Not
you
just
can't
non-linear, it is unpredictable. Unpredictable, absolutely. You never know. You could, at your age of 50, you could end up writing books that are going to help the next so many generations of people. So don't judge, right? You never know what kripa is unlocking and what curse is being burnt off. Have Matra Bhav towards your entire family. That's the most important thing, because they are in specific stages of karmic burning which is happening right now, and it is your own extensions that is there as your own family. Attain shunyata with it and understand that why there is a struggling marriage, why there is a struggling sister, why there is a struggling brothers. Look at it and attain shunyata, and when look at them with Matra Bhav, you will definitely find that sadhana is much faster and accelerates much faster. Anything you reject in Prakriti around you is rejection of Kali.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Bhairava Kalike Namostute Bhadrakali Dakshina Kali Aghora Kali Smashana Kali Adya Mahakali Adya Mahakali Kali Gita Kali Gita Adama Kalini ke namostute Bhadrakali Dakshina Kali Adama Kalini ke namostute Bhadrakali Dakshina Kali Aghora Kali Smashana Kali Adya Mahakali Adya